Well, tonight we're going to be listening to CJ and Chip talk about what is going on in politics. So I'm going to be putting a video up. Spindle City Straight Talk.
This is the problem. Wake up. Wake up. I mean, I don't know how any state can stay blue when they look at what's going on. You have to be like, really.
I got Spindle City Straight Talk on my Fall River Media.
So far at the top of the spectrum, you fell off the spectrum of being stupid.
You know, Chip. You tell them.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you listen to this stuff, and they have the audacity to say this in front of a camera. Coogan says, screw the city council. I don't care.
Spindle City Straight Talk.
They're the appropriate body. But I don't know that either. I'm just the vice principal. Then you got a city councilor in Chicago, obviously an ultra liberal.
I got Spindle City Straight Talk live
says
on Fall River Media.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
A college student going to Loyola
Oh my
University,
God, it's
which
awesome.
is a pretty prestigious school. That's not bad, actually.
It doesn't roll off the tongue, but
It doesn't roll off the tongue, but it's a pretty fair assessment of what it
yes,
is.
it is.
It is a pretty good assessment of what it is. Yeah, well, the others should even be on the council. And I'm telling you, if you're going to do the recall, guys, think about having a petition to recall the bobbleheads too. You know, Paul Hart.
Woo! Paul
Linda Pereira.
Linda Pereira. All a bunch of bobbleheads.
You know,
Raposo. No question about it.
Joe Camara.
Yes.
Those four should be gone. If you're gonna, you might as well just print a few extra pieces of paper because, I mean, listen, CJ and I have been doing this a long time. I've never seen any mayor with the audacity to just not even pretend.
Recall. Look at recall.
We paid. Those are the discount lights. The $1 million lights.
The discount lights. Recall Paul Coogan. Oh, there's the bobbleheads.
Okay, who can identify who's in his picture? Okay.
Cal Faiola.
I think that might be Paul almost out of the shot. And as usual, he's deferring to everybody else to look at the lights.
Alan Sylvia, Carol Faiola. I don't even know if that's Alan Sylvia. It doesn't hold right.
Nope, it doesn't hold water.
I don't know who those people are.
Well, I'm not good at. I know Carol Faiola.
I know Carol Faiola.
Because of the hairdo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. The other three, I got no idea. If you guys can get through the yard, just let us know because I don't have a clue. The other guy, the face looks familiar, but I just can't. I can't place him. But I mean, I've never seen anything like this. This guy's just everything he does is like, I don't care about you or the money. No, yeah, you're right.
Oh shit.
Yeah, well, you know, yeah, of course they're going to say that. So we should not have, ICE. We should not have a law enforcement agency enforce our border. You see, MS, whatever that shit they call themselves now, MS now,
MS now. MS
MS
now.
now, or whatever the bullshit name they came up with. Nobody watches them anyway for most of the time, except us just to get pissed off. But
hey, how about the fact that Chuck Schumer's wife,
oh yeah,
with 1,100 employees, hired illegal aliens.
Woo!
1,100
illegal aliens.
Wow.
Now you know why the Democrats want illegal aliens in the country. So his wife can work them like slaves.
And what's going to happen to her? Is she
Nothing.
going to go to jail
She
for
might.
basically having half of Tijuana working in their freaking business? I don't know. This is nuts. You know. Yeah, well, his attitude is ignore them as long as they let me ignore them and do what I want. I'm going to do what I want. And this is, like I said, the new school committee stepped up and said, no, you're not going to do what you want. We're going to do what we want. We got the majority of votes, and that's the way it works. So let's see if the city council steps up. It's time for the city to step up and tell Coogan, no. There's not even a process. Listen, I don't care. I don't know this chief, and I don't know her, and she could be good, she could be bad. But you just can't say I'm going to give her a contract just because I want to. Look, they had this big, long, protracted discussion about this. Oh, we want an outside chief. We want an investigation. We want this. We want to do all this stuff. And then what did they come up with? They came up with an agreement that they go to civil service to eliminate this thing. That's the way they wanted to resolve it. Okay. All right. So now, okay, let this chief take the civil service exam. And if she gets on the list, they can choose them. Top 3. That's the way the civil service system works. So why didn't they just give a test and tell her take the test? And now what the city council should be demanding is her contract doesn't have a sunset clause. Her contract's done. You're not going to fund a new one. He's just not going to give it to her. If they're going to have an interim chief while they establish a civil service list and get a civil service chief, that interim chief should follow the process that they discussed ad nauseum when this first went through the meat grinder in front of council. They should bring in people to interview, have people apply for the job, even consider maybe getting an interim police chief from outside the city who knows nobody.
God forbid you do that.
Until we get a civil service chief.
The department would go in an uproar. God forbid you do that. As a matter of fact, right now, one of the big bitches, from what I have been told, is that nobody in the department has taken a chief's exam because the chief's position was contract. So if they call for the list right now, there's nobody in the Fall River department on the list. Oh, well.
Yeah, but did they call for a test?
I don't know.
No, see, that's the key. The key is if they called for an exam, there would be people taking a test, because the way it works in civil service is you have to have 3 people who are qualified. It's normally the rank below.
Wow.
Might be both, Stevie. Might be both. But
the thing is, if a civil service list already exists for police chiefs, why would the city want a new exam?
Well, CJ, that's you can't answer that question because we don't know if they have a list, if they called for a list. That's what the city council should know. The city council, nobody in the city council I have heard has said that we have a civil service list and he won't use it. And if you called for a civil service, I don't believe he ever called for a test.
He hasn't called for a list. I know that.
So hasn't called. Well, you can't have a list without a test. So there you go. First you got to call for a test. So nobody made him call for a test. And if they called for a test, the way it works is the next rank below. If you want to take the captain's test, it's open to lieutenants.
Yeah.
At least 3 lieutenants have to apply to take the test. If they don't get 3 lieutenants, which is never a problem because there's a whole bunch of lieutenants in the fighter, but it's like 45 or 50 of them. So they all want to make captain.
They haven't
open it up
had
to the next
tests
rank.
since.
So then it would be open to
82.
firefighters. You could go from firefighter, jump lieutenant, and go to captain.
Jimmy
That's
Cahill.
because not
They
enough
haven't
lieutenants want it.
had
So
a
same
test
thing applies
since
all the
the
way up the
80s
ranks. When you
for the
take the
chief.
chief's exam, it's only open to chief officers. Now, if not enough chief officers put in for the exam, it'll be open to captain. And you'll get people to take it. Somebody will take it. You know, Coogan and this disastrous corrupt
the mayor.
Frank now will not be there. You're on a civil services, but it's up to the city council to push. They made an agreement. I mean, everybody watched that thing unfold in nauseating detail, and all the discussions and the people in the audience and all the byplays and call them
Gene St. Pierre, no
and everything
captain
else that went
is
after.
going to take the test because they don't want to go against the sitting chief of
I don't know. Well, maybe you're right, Gene. But I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of guys like me and some of the guys we had on the fire union. Because I'll tell you one thing: if they would have told me, I would have taken it just to have them try to retaliate, so I could sue their ass.
Wait, they did retaliate against you.
Yeah, they did. They tried not to make me a chief. That's right.
That's right.
That's right. And we had to go. You know, we had a big. That was all over the newspapers for a long time. They did everything they could not to make me a chief when I was number 1 on a list, but I made it. So, but the thing is that I didn't give a shit. They said, no, they'll never do it. And I said, well, I'll make them do it. Contract said you have to call for the list. They didn't call for the list. Our contract clearly stated that within 30 days of a vacancy, you have to call. They didn't call. I filed agreements. Then we went at that. Then they called. Then they refused to bring it was a long, nauseating thing. Took months. Then Rossman broke them down on stand. They admitted they were colluding. But I made it. But there might be people in the police department that still got a set and say, I'm going to take it. And if you people don't realize that. Guys used to tell me, when you're the head of the union, you're going to have a target on your back, and you are. They tried to not make me a captain. They tried to not make me a chief. But I fought. See, you got to be willing to fight. If you're going to cave, well, don't do it, because you got to get it by being friendly. But if the right's on your side, if you got a civil service and you top the civil service exam and you're on a list, and then they try to retaliate against you later, you got good grounds for a lawsuit. That's what I did. You got good grounds for retaliating solely because I'm in a union.
Yeah, but they really went out of their way with you.
They really did. Yeah, they really did.
They tampered with the list and everything.
They did. Yeah, they did everything they could. They had secret meetings they admitted to later on the oath and everything else. But yeah, they did everything they could. But I didn't care. I just kept this. I just said, you're gonna, I'm gonna fight this thing until we get a final decision, and they caved.
Hey, we got a comment on YouTube from Chicky711. Where are the checks and balances? Our council should be stepping up on the people's behalf.
You're right.
You're right, Chicky.
And on their own half. On their
That's
own
right.
half. I mean, imagine what a bunch of, listen, if some of those guys, if they did a scrotum, if they opened their scrotum and took their cojones out, it looked like 2 BBs on an 8-lane highway. That's how small they are.
Wow.
All right? Because remember this, guys. This council agreed to go to civil service. That was the agreement. Now the ones that are not going to go fight, they're fighting their own position because nobody objected. Nobody said, no, we don't want to go to civil service. We want Paul to pick them. Let's let Paul make the chief from now on. Even after he moves to Somerset, we'll call him up and say, who do you want as the fire chief and the police chief and every other department head? That's not what they said. They went through all this rigmarole. We want out of town chiefs. We want this. We want that. We want this. And then all of a sudden, what?
Mike, I just checked.
Yeah, there you go.
Go.
I doubt seriously, Michelle,
And
if
it
they,
doesn't
you know,
look
listen, if
like
you call for a list, we would have known about the test. I would have known.
That's right.
I have enough contacts in the police department to know if they would have been given a chief's list. I would have not only known they gave it, but I would have known who was on the list. It would have been very, very odd for me not to be getting a phone call from somebody. Yeah, they never call. But whose fault is that? It's the city council. If somebody tells you that they're going to do something that they were responsible for doing, that you made a deal with, and then 6 months later they haven't even made a move, whose fault is it? You didn't go and say, hey, you made a deal. We got the video here. You know, you said, oh yeah, and you said we were going to, both things, form of government. They didn't hold his feet to the fire. Like you guys always say, accountability. Accountability. There's no accountability for anything in this city. There'll be no accountability for this brawl that they had with Durfee students. Tommy Corey will be saying, why are we going to win the school? Yeah, 363rd. 363rd. That's even less. That's lower than the amount of cities and towns we have in the entire state, because some of them have multiple districts. 393 districts. 360 by that.
Fall River has 4.
Yeah. So you look at that, and all 4 are at the bottom.
Actually, that's not true. Actually, that's not true. We have four school districts. There's the Fall River Public Schools at the bottom of the list. Diamond Regional Vocational Technical High School, very high on the list. Atlantis Charter School, very high on the list. And Argosy Charter School and Argosy Collegiate Charter School, very high on the list.
They're not part of the Fall River Public Schools.
That's right. They're not part of the Fall River School District.
Remember that. They're not part of the Fall. That's why we're down there, because they're not part of it. One's a regional school. The others are independent. Yeah. Well, that's right. All they do is talk, and like now this is their litmus test. We're going to have to see what they do. The school committee stepped up. They wrote a check with their mouth and their ass cashed it. Paul wasn't happy, but their ass cashed it. So now Paul Coogan challenged them. You're a bunch of clowns. You can't make me do anything I don't want to do.
That's right.
I agreed with you, and everybody agreed. I didn't hear Joe Camara go, no, I want Paul to do it. I didn't hear Andrew Raposo. No, I didn't hear Linda. No. Give her a contract for a year, and we're going to go to civil service, and we agree. The hell with it. No outside chiefs, keep it within the department, and blah, blah, blah. But then the agreement was made. But when has Coogan ever abided by anything he's ever said? Never. I mean, after 6 years,
the proverbial prevaricator.
the pathological prevaricator. The pathological prevaricator. That's him. I mean, that's all he ever does. I mean, you could just look at how many times have you ever seen Paul take no for an answer? He never does. How many times in the council did they do something and he sent it right back down the next meeting? And then down again. Or find their way around it. Oh, Rumsey, right up at the court. People don't know Rumsey. Like Rumsey's the Supreme Court.
Well, the dunce, otherwise known as Duncey, says that Paul has the authority under Fall River's Type A charter. Hey, nutwad, we don't have a Type A charter. We have a home rule charter. Quote me chapter and verse where he has that authority.
Yeah. Well, listen.
It's amazing how they pull laws out of their ass that don't even apply to us.
Listen, I don't care what your charter said. The charter would be illegal if they were superseding the legal fiduciary right of the legislative body,
Which he is.
to appropriate money.
Right.
There's where the lawyers see. The lawyers, they take this little course in semantics, so you know how they can. That's why there's so many lawyers. And an old joke used to be, "What's 500 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean?"
A good start.
Yeah, good start. It's because yeah. Well, again, Scott. Again, there's no reason. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. There's no reason for a fire station down there except because it's Paul and all the Richies. Little thing. Look, we're going to have a fire station just for you. We're going to have, just because this is our little jewel, our crown jewel. The Wall Street's been here since Fall River's been basically around. If the apparatus running time on Stanley Street down the hill, gravity, wasn't well within NFPA standards for fire protection, we would be getting assessed a higher rate of fire insurance for that area of the city. That is total freaking bullshit. That is a waste again of the taxpayers' money. There's no need for that except to go with the $7 million benches and lights. Let's put a nice new fire station there. So we can say, look, you got your own fire station over here.
It goes great with the new lights and benches.
That's right, goes great. Yeah, they might even put the same lights and benches in the station.
That's right.
No, that's right. It'll be beautiful. For what? We don't need it. We don't need it. What? To protect what? Cadero's property? Well, it's protected now. He'd be paying more for fire insurance. Check with the insurance, the ISO. Every so often, ISO goes to cities and they rate their fire department. And if you've got a department, like a volunteer fire department or a department that's only got a few men, they don't have enough manpower, you get a higher fire insurance rate. People don't know that. I do. That's what I did. That was my decision. I know how that works. I've seen ISO investigations. I've been part of ISO investigations. Just like if you live in a city like Fall River, which has got crime, even though on Facebook they'll tell you we don't, you got to pay higher auto insurance. You can pay the same auto insurance if you live in Dartmouth as you do in Fall River? Hell no.
That's
I mean, the fire
Justin,
station.
that's just like the main. That's just like the central fire station with the traffic thing. I mean, the Wall Street is a shithole for traffic. The way they got the lights set up. Okay, takes 45 minutes to get from the Somerset on ramp to 79 to the end.
Well, he's right, because of one thing. The way they're supposed to do things today is I don't know. I know he went to Brown undergrad. I don't know. But in cities, especially cities, it's like a circle. They triangulate the circle and they know running in like the spokes into the center of the city. Because if the station is put in a place where there's less traffic, at least you can get out of the station and begin to get there. Now you're always going to hit traffic, but there may be time for the traffic to clear a little bit. But if you're in the middle of a high-density traffic area, like downtown on Bedford Street, what happens? If all of a sudden all the traffic's backed up, there's construction down on Central Street, you come out of the apparatus, you're screwed. It's if you're on Duval Street, there could be a fire 6 blocks away, and you're tied up in work traffic getting out of work on Duval Street. It's horse shit.
Well,
We don't
yes.
need another fire station.
Well,
If we do,
no,
it
we
should be
don't.
done based on where we got a report years ago.
Oh, Dan Robillard, under the charter of appointment,
Danny,
must
you
be
know that.
confirmed by the city council.
Danny would know that.
Danny,
That's
yep.
my man, Dan.
Dan
right,
There's the guy.
Robillard.
There's the only charter commissioner that stood up for the people of Fall River.
Dan
The
Robillard.
man who filed a minority opinion.
Yes, it is.
Only charter commissioner to say, I don't agree with this charter. And he disagreed with most of it.
Dan Robillard.
A man of the people. Danny stood up for
That's
the
right.
people of Fall River. He's the only one. Everyone else and that original charter commission was a political hack. Danny was the only one. That was the best appointment ever made to the charter. Well, he was elected. But the thing is that Danny showed, and he's right. And Danny would know that because nobody knows the charter better than Danny.
Yep.
And yeah, listen, Rumsey, why do these people insist on thinking that every time a lawyer says something, it's like a freaking Supreme Court decision? It's not. It's not. He's a lawyer. He's giving you a legal opinion. And if you pay him, and he's a half-ass lawyer, he'll make the opinion support any position you take. Some lawyer with actual ethics would probably say, no, I'm not going to. You're wrong with your interpretation on this. No, that's why these guys are not working in Boston, making millions of dollars like big-time lawyers. They're working for the city of Fall River so they can now get into the business of market rate housing and not make their money on law because they can't make enough money in the practice of law because they suck. It's that simple. So he comes down with an opinion and they're all like, oh, Rumsey said. Who gives a shit what Rumsey said? I can find a lawyer that will give me a different opinion. Why does the city lose 97% of the cases, or probably more than 97, actually probably more like 99% of the cases that they litigate? Because they suck. They make these bullshit rulings from the law department, and then when they get to court, the judge laughs them out of court. That's what happens. And it's not a theory. I'm not speaking from theory. I'm speaking from experience. I've been in Boston when a judge looked at the city of Fall River's attorney and said, what are you doing? Why are you here?
Ron, what do you want?
Well, Your Honor, it says right here. He said, and the judge looked at him and said, Attorney Weber, you can't take one line out of an entire law out of context and make a ruling on that one line.
Well,
You have to read the entire law.
exactly. Well, here's the kicker. Okay, I just got off the phone with the city councilor. Okay, and I said exactly what Danny said, that under the charter, all appointments must be confirmed by the city council. The city's position is that reappointments do not need to be confirmed by the city council.
No, that's
And I was said, if a charter commissioner, Danny, are you listening, would step forward at a city council meeting and say that publicly because you know the intent of the charter and its position, they would be grateful.
Wait a minute. Yeah, they probably would, but they don't need that, okay? Because Danny's watching, and you don't need that opinion. Because you know why? Her contract is over.
That's what I said. Her contract's
She
over.
doesn't
Therefore,
work
it's a new
anymore,
contract. A
And
new
she's
appointment.
not being reappointed. She's
That's
being
right.
appointed.
Exactly.
Because that
Exactly.
position is vacant
Right.
at the end of her contract.
Right.
She's being appointed. There's no such thing as a reappointment. It's still an appointment.
That's right.
Bullshit. It's like rehabilitation.
And I said that. I said there's no continuation clause, no evergreen clause, nothing in her contract. Therefore, on May 13th, there's no one in the position.
Yeah, and even if she had an evergreen clause, that clause only guarantees that her pay and her benefits will remain the same until the subsequent agreement is negotiated.
Right.
And that's a new agreement. That is not a reappointment because she's being appointed for a totally different time. That will take effect on a particular day to another particular day, and then it ends without a sunset clause. And if there was a sunset clause, it would be then null and void because you redid it. It's an appointment.
Right.
These people are so full of shit. That's why they lose in court. If you went into a courtroom with that argument, the judge would throw your ass out in Boston. Fall River, probably not, because they all know each other. They're all in confidence. That's why they're practicing law down here, not where they can make millions of dollars. But they laugh you out of court. I saw lawyers thrown out of court in Boston for filing a shitty brief. I saw judges in Boston while I was waiting for our case to be called. Sitting in a courtroom was really educational. The judge would look at the thing and look at the lawyer and say, "Did you go to law school? This brief is ridiculous. Go see my clerk, set another date, and learn how to write a brief. Because if you put something in like this to my courtroom again, I'll rule against you." That's the way it is in Boston. They're way too busy to be screwing around. I've seen in Fall River, judges help lawyers.
Right.
With their brief.
I hear you.
Welcome to the Star Wars bar.
Star Wars bar.
What's the Klingon word for defecation?
Klingon words for definition.
For Star Wars and stuff like that. But yeah, this is nuts. These people, and they try, and every time they try to justify it, they make themselves look stupider.
They're crazy.
Thank you, Danny, for your input. And I think that's a great idea that CJ come up. Go down there and tell these people. You people are, you're batshit crazy. Do you realize what that statement means? It means that if you get a job in Fall River again, even if it's a contract job, right? You're on the contract. Then you can never lose the job again. They can just keep you on a payroll no matter how bad you do. Because the mayor likes you. That doesn't apply to reappointments. Horse shit. They'd have to say that in it. See, the absence of language, that you can't make that jump. If they wanted that in the document, they should have put it in. I mean, it's horse shit. Horse shit. That's a good question, though. We're gonna have to find out what law school. Maybe it was like Ooey Dooey and Screwy. I don't know. Law school. I don't know. Maybe it was like a correspondence course or something. I don't know. Yeah, well, I mean, this is the problem. They're projecting their insecurity by they're getting, they overcompensate. That's a defense mechanism for people who don't have self-confidence and they've got low self-esteem. So, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, Scott. And that's the problem. I mean, these people are they're grasping at straws. But now, listen, we're talking, we had a great discussion here, but reality is it's up to the council. Are they going to grow a set? I don't know. It's up to them. But they shouldn't allow this. And you're right. I just got a text saying it funding by the city council. It has to be confirmed and it has to be funded. The law's clear on the funding part.
Right.
And that's what they play this semantic game again. You're right. The mayor does have the right to make an appropriation. But that's an appropriation to fund a contract he negotiated. That appropriation then has to be justified in front of the city council. Because if you read 150E, it doesn't apply to this contract, it's on a collective bargaining agreement. But it says every single item has to be funded. So it's up to the fiduciary.
Oh, we do. We got future investments to do it.
Yeah, but it's up to the city council to make sure, because they are the fiduciaries, the legislative body, they hold the purse strings, they are the Ways and Means Committee. It's up to them to appropriate the money for the appropriation. That appropriation is a suggestion because he does not have the power. Listen, guys, if that was true, if that's the way government worked, we would not have TSA out of work, DHS without funding, because the idiot Democrats are holding it up. Trump would just say, hey, screw you, Congress. I'm paying them.
That's right.
I'm appropriating the money. I don't need you. I don't care what you want. This is what I want. I'm the president. I'm the executive branch. Sorry, there is a separation of powers. Think about it, Rumsey.
Sure is a there is.
Tell him, Donald, hire me. I'm going to go up there, write an opinion. They'll run your ass out of D.C. so fast, it'll laugh you out of the room if you try to make that case in front of guys like Jonathan Turley and stuff like that. You know, I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous.
His ass would be on fire.
Yeah. I mean, this is absolutely
James,
ridiculous.
you're all right.
It is.
Coogan and Ramsey have no idea what is in the charter.
No,
Of course
you don't, Danny.
Identifies
Your term is
city
expired.
council and
Right.
And
Exactly.
and the state needs
a
to
new
hold
term.
them accountable.
It
Yes,
doesn't matter.
you're absolutely
who
right,
is
James.
in
I agree
there.
with you.
They just have to put a name to fill that job, and you're the
That's
new
right.
hire. So
That's
theoretically, it's a new hire with every contract.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like I said, Trump would be funding everything. Can you imagine if they gave Trump a free reign? I mean, but they can't do it. You can't do this shit. The city council is the legislative body.
God.
There is a separation. The executive branch does not fund things. They suggest the funding. They said that no, they have to appropriate it, give a number, and then it says in the law clearly. And it says even if you change something within the budget during the year, it has to go before the council. They don't
That's
do
right.
it. They don't do it in Fall River 90% of the time, but it actually says that in the law too. And if you, Rumsey, if you want the law, I'll give it to you. You're the lawyer. You're supposed to know this shit.
That's why I call him Duncy.
Dunsey. Senator Ramsey,
I mean,
Dunsey.
but this is all on. I mean, Coogan, you know, to get on TV, the guy that hides in the city hall, never had a press conference in 6 years about anything, and now he's on.
And he only talks to radio and TV Pravda. Remember that.
And he goes on TV and says, "I don't care what the council thinks." That's a slap in the face.
Exactly.
Even your asses should be pissed off.
Hey, Stevie, did you tell him you were happy?
And then also,
That's why the recall's in place.
Yeah, no, they don't. And they don't care, James. See, that's the tragic part about it.
Yeah.
No, they
Like
don't.
CJ said in his opening quote from Karl Marx,
No, they don't care.
it becomes a tragedy when people are so uninformed. You know, the first time, it's
Fool me
that.
once, shame on me.
That fooled me twice. Yeah. That shame on me. You fool me once, you can, not even once, but you will
That's
pay.
it. Well, it's been a great show. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember, we have people that want us to bring you the information, so we do. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great evening.
Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching Fall River Media News and Spindle City Straight Talk Live. This is Dave Mead, Fall River Media News. We'll see you again. Take care, everybody. Have a great one. Yep, so this is Dave Mead, Fall River Media News. Thank you all for watching Spindle City Straight Talk on Fall River Media Live.